it a hearty welcome then, hurrah, hurrah. The men, they'll be my property. If they don't work it, I'll shoot their knee. And we'll all feel great when money comes marching home. Anarchy in my RPG, hurrah, hurrah. Will guarantee my liberty, hurrah, hurrah. Mexicans I will underpay, with roses they will screw the way. And we'll all feel great when money comes marching home. Taste of my M60, hurrah, hurrah. My legal wrath is ready now to place a bullet in your brow. And we'll all feel great when money comes marching home. The government and no ash nukes, hurrah, hurrah. Just recreational make nukes, hurrah, hurrah. And each would never pay a tax that do enjoy the status tots. And we'll all feel great when money comes marching home. And we'll all feel great when money comes marching home. And we'll all feel great when money comes marching home.
Hello fellow pilots, I'm Major Payne and this is another episode of How to Play, first video of 2025. It's gonna be actually about Christmas event, end of 2024 basically, because we're gonna talk about XB-42 Mixmaster. It's American Tier 8 premium bomber. It's a pretty unique machine like no other bombers. So let's get into it. Let's start with the defense armament because that's the biggest weakness of this plane. We have 12.7 heavy machine guns, 4 of them, mounted in the wings, and cumulative damage of this weapon is 144 and range 700. Of course, that range can be increased with the equipment, but nothing will help here because the fire angle of this weapon is absolutely awkward and it just makes this bomber vulnerable even to the light fighters, so it's unique. To comparison, we can say that P-61, famous heavy fighter tail gunner, have cumulative damage 128, and we have on a bomber 144, but of course, as you know, P-61 have all-around fire, not a small square on the back of the plane like in this case. As you see, it's very difficult to maneuver and fire this heavy machine gun, so defense of this bomber is absolutely terrible. So, in order to defend ourselves, we need to use our speed and altitude, and not defense armament. So let's look on the speed. We have 405 km/h cruise speed and 785 with boost. Top speed, it's in a dive, of course, it's 850 km/h, so it's pretty good. Boost duration in this plane is 60 seconds, so it's also very good. From what I can see, I fly a lot of this plane recently, and I'm not using this boost entirely, so I basically keep very high speed all the time, so it's very good. Defense in this plane rely on speed and situational awareness, so basically we have to avoid any threat. Like most of the heavy fighters, you can outrun, and of course light fighters also. The only problem will be Me-262, which is a problem for any bomber on tier 8, so nothing new here. Now let's move to the bombs. Main thing on the bomber, so we have 12 bombs in 3 sets, so we drop 4 bombs in each set. Cumulative damage of those bombs is 51,600 damage, so it's very good. Base resupply time is 50 seconds. With the proper equipment we can go down to 36 seconds of resupply time, so it's pretty reasonable. Each of these bombs make 4,300 damage and the radius of these bombs is 75 meters, so it's very good. Cumulative damage over 51,000 is actually one of the best. Only B-29C on tier 8 have better damage. The only problem here is that we have only 3 sets of those bombs, so theoretically we can only destroy 3 ground targets, but experienced bomber pilot should be able to destroy more than 3 targets, yeah? All you need to do is just spread those over 2 targets. This is tricky, difficult and acquired knowledge which sector have those targets close enough to be able to achieve this. Here is one of the examples I have, and this is the rocket base in the middle, and to capture the neutral rocket base we need to do 140 capture points. And we have only 3 sets of bombs. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna destroy the air defense, then main building, and then 2 targets together, air defense and this tents over there. I'm gonna show you that after the main building. There you go, these 2. So that will give me 140 capture points altogether, and theoretically I would capture this rocket base, if of course no one will get killed or anything like that. So 1 set go for air defense, 1 set for main building, and those 2 targets with last set, there you go. Boom, and I just gonna take them over together, and that's gonna be 140 capture points. There you go. And of course there's many more of these locations where you can destroy 2 targets with 1 set of bombs. I make a video about bombers, how to play bombers, where I actually show a lot of these opportunities and these locations where you can destroy more targets with sets of bomb or 1 big bomb, whatever. But there's a very interesting video, I recommend you guys to take a look on it. Now, in survivability section we would have 1800 HP pool, resistant to damage is 45 and resistant to fire is 60, so not great, not terrible. Maneuverability is, well, we have 22.8 second average turn time, so it's not so bad as B-29C, but it's far away from Tu-10, obviously it's not so maneuverable, but it's doing its job, it's good enough, I would say. I didn't complain on maneuverability in this plane. I rather fly in a straight line most of the time anyway, so just over the target I need some of the maneuverability, and I think it's good enough. So what's good here also is altitude performance. This is very interesting. So we have minimum optimum altitude 1500 meters and maximum optimum is 2700 meters, so it's a big range between where we can fly with maximum speed, yeah, so it's very good. Service ceiling is 4700, it's also very good, and the climb rate is absolutely marvelous. It's 89 meters per second, so it's very good. It's actually almost like RB-17, which is a jet bomber. Other than RB-17 we have much better climb rate than any other bomber on this tier. So we can use that, and this plane basically, if we need to go down for some targets or some sector, whatever we do, we can very quickly go up and go back on our or on some higher altitude where we are not so vulnerable. As you can see on example, this bomber just climbing absolutely great. With the boost activated you can just go straight up very quickly. Now let's take a look on equipment, and the reason why I'm calling this bomber a ninja bomber is that on first slot I'm using the navigation radio equipment, which increase the concealment, increase the detection range of the enemy planes, and between the bonus characteristic I have very useful one, plus 10% tolerance damage from AA guns. And this is useful for the bombers which flying at high altitude and bomb those sectors. To give you extra protection from AA guns, this is very good. And this is exactly how we should fly XB-42 at high altitude, not at low altitude. Even though I show you a couple of clips where I fly at low altitude, this is not the best way. Now, what are the choice we have? Like cockpit armor? Yes, but that's for other bombers which have powerful tail gunners. Cockpit armor basically give you extra protection for your pilot and your tail gunner, but in here you really don't want to use your tail gunner, believe me. So there is no need for extra protection for something which you're not going to use. What you really want to use is extra concealment, so you can avoid easier any engagement with heavy fighter or some high altitude light fighters, which are all deadly for you basically. And tail gunner is not going to help you. That's it. Ninja bomber need to have navigation radio equipment. A reinforced airframe on second slot. That's my recommendation. This is, I guess, must have, but you could also go for polished skin. But with reinforced airframe, I have over 500 HP more on this plane. And again, between the bonus characteristic, I have this 10% tolerance damage from AA guns. And this is very useful. Now, Polish skin give you cruise speed basically, and cruise speed not gonna change here anything. You're not gonna be able to escape from Mi-262 thanks to this. All you're gonna do is you're gonna destroy your maneuverability completely. and you're gonna have a little bit more of cruise speed, which is useless because between the sectors you're still gonna use your boost. You have 60 seconds of boost, you're gonna fly as fast as possible between the sectors, and when you are over the sector and bomb the targets, then basically you are on a cooldown at this time. You don't need that to fly that fast. And yeah, I never had any problem with boost or lack of speed or something like that. So Polish skin is not needed. I need the extra HP. Yeah, now the rest of it is pretty standard, I would say. Engine, we have high speed gas turbine. This is basically like must have, no question. That gives you extra top speed, extra acceleration, and bonus characteristic like engine cooldown rate, boost availability, that kind of stuff. Also very useful. Now, for the tail gunner, there is not much of a choice again. Turret gun sight to increase the range of your tail gunner, but as I mentioned, that's not going to change anything. If I wouldn't have that, that's not going to be any problem. It's not going to change much. Now, for the bombs, obvious choice is a hard point. Okay, to decrease the time for bomb reload. Now, on the bonus characteristic, we also need this plus 10% bomb reload speed. So altogether, with this, we're gonna go down to 36 seconds of bomb reload, which is very good. And instead of the 1% of cruise speed, I would recommend you guys to change that for bomb accuracy, extra 5%. Basically, it's very expensive, as you can see, but I'm flying at high altitude most of the time in this bomber, and I think that's much more useful than 1% of cruise flight, so that could be a good choice. Now, if you have too much gold and you want to spend some on this premium consumables, I would recommend you guys first thing first to get not heavy warhead, but this one here, improve explosive, and that give you extra radius for the bomb. So basically this is most useful premium consumables you can get for this plane, and that make it much easier to destroy more than one target with one set of bombs. Now for the pilot skills, I use here, as you see, pretty standard again, Aerodynamic Expert. Then this one is Protection Expert. This is just because I have reinforced airframe, so that give me extra HP. Altogether I have over 500. And then Engine Guru 1. If I would have more points, I would put Engine Guru 2 and definitely Cruise Flight. Other than that, everything else is as it is, yeah. This one here, you might think Demolition Expert is not needed because this bomber basically have such a powerful bombs, so that's not needed. But it is needed because it's also increased the blast radius by 10%, and that's exactly what you need to destroy 2 targets with one set of bombs. Now, how we should fly this bomber? The answer is simple. We should fly at high altitude. There are 2 main reasons for that. First, we don't have effective armament to defend ourselves, so we use speed and altitude. The second most important reason is that this bomber is extremely accurate, and we can destroy those targets from way beyond 3000 meters, so we can fly even extremely high and still being able to hit accurately the ground targets and capture sectors, yeah? So what's the point in flying at low altitude? There's simply none. We only put ourselves into vulnerable position. When I fly this bomber, in the beginning I was flying actually at low altitude to check it out, but straight away I feel, oh, this is not right. So when I do that, it's more like a habit, but I can feel it that this is not okay. It's not needed here. I can fly much higher and be safer, preserve my HP, stay alive basically much longer, to do much more. And I know that there are other content creators which suggest you to fly at low altitude, but this is wrong. There's literally nothing here that you can do that you wouldn't be able to do at high altitude. So the only thing we get here is punishment for speed, because when we fly below our minimum optimal altitude, our speed get this punishment. We can't fly as fast as we would fly at high altitude. Now, another thing is that I believe that players are still not aware how vulnerable this bomber is. Like, even the lightest light fighter can take this out at low altitude, and as soon as players will find out how vulnerable this machine is, that's gonna be at low altitude. That's gonna be basically a free kill for everyone, and there will be no gameplay at low altitude in the future, I would say, because everyone who see this bomber at low altitude will go after it because that's a free kill. Let's take it. And I heard also this idea that we should fly low altitude and do something and crash and take another plane, fly, crash, and so on. And I think this is absolutely ridiculous advice. Just take a look yourself.
Taken. I didn't need to get all 3 targets. Wouldn't be a bad idea just to get out of the sector and dump the aircraft, or even at this stage with the base lock, dump the aircraft right now. And I think you're going to do this a lot in the XB-42. Take a sector, particularly an important sector, dump the aircraft, respawn, go and do something else important, dump the aircraft, respawn. It's probably not going to be that frequent you get Doolittle medals, not if you want to be effective.
This is just completely ineffective. We can do the same thing at high altitude and stay alive for entire of the battle, simply dropping bombs as soon as we get reload on them, and that's the way to be most effective. So it's just nonsense, and I'm gonna show you a few good examples how I'm taking over sectors from high altitudes very effectively in a moment. But before that, let's sort out another nonsense, and it's about aerodynamic pylons. So let's listen first.
Aerodynamic pylons for more speed. Yes, if you're wanting to try and increase the speed of the aircraft, get it between sectors more quickly, and you don't mind increasing your reload time.
Okay guys, aerodynamic pylons can give you extra speed only if you have your rockets or bombs outside of the fuselage, yeah, under the wings or under the belly, whatever, but not in the bomb bay. So you see I remove my hardpoints here and the speed is increasing, yeah, but when I put the aerodynamic pylons, speed is not going to be changed now, yeah. And the reason for that is that we have bombs in bomb bay, so how can those pylons increase the speed? They can't. So it's only work for some multi-rolls or bombers which have the bombs outside of the bomb bay, yeah, but not for this one, yeah. That's not gonna give you any extra speed. Like I'm gonna show you example of multi-role fighter on tier 8. Let's take the F2G. There you go. And F2G, I believe I have hard points on it. Yes, there you go. So I have my hard points, and that's the speed, yeah. When I remove the hard points, the speed will be increased, obviously. And now I'm gonna put aerodynamic pylons, and this speed is gonna change again. It's gonna increase again. There you go. We have more speed. Now, there's much more of this misleading information. I can't correct everything, so let's move on and let me show you how I'm taking over sectors from high altitude. Now, let's start with the mining plant. As you can see, I'm flying here 3,500 meters, even above that, but that just because I was taking over the garrison and I didn't want to be engaged by heavy air defense aircraft, so I had this high altitude. But for mining plant, I go down a little bit to 2,700, and we start from 50 points target, then main building for 80 point target. I had to speed up here a little bit, yeah, to spread those bombs, and then another 50 point target, and that's it. And as you can see, I'm not using here a premium consumables. This is standard consumables. I don't have to pay any gold to destroy that. It's actually very easy, but if you put your premium consumables, that's not needed here, but you can use those premium consumables for other sectors where the targets are close to each other, and that make easier to destroy them. Yeah, but guys, this plane should fly at high altitude, and it's very effective actually over there. Accurate, constant damage, constant capture points, and we can earn a lot of credits with this machine. I would say we don't have to use the premium consumables here. Now I'm gonna show you the rocket base. Rocket base, usually if it's enemy rocket base, we have to do, if we are on our own taking enemy rocket base, 3 sets of bombs are not enough. We have to do the reload and come back to the rocket base. But when it's neutral, there are some rocket base in this game which can be taken over with one pass. So this is one of them. I'm going to show you this example. That's require you to destroy 2 targets with 1 set. So that's going to be those tents and this air defense here. That's going to be 1 set. We have to go a little bit fast here. Another set here for this air defense and main building with 1 set. So basically that's 140 capture points, and I can be first who, I can take over the rocket base. This is huge boost for my team, yeah? So start of the battle, I take over the rocket base first, and I have 140 capture points. So it's possible and not needed premium consumables, as you can see. There are many more locations like this, more rocket bases, but also the garrisons. Like in this case, there are 2 targets close together, the 2 20-point targets just with 1 set, another set for 30-point target. So I will have here altogether 70 capture points at this point, yeah? There you go. So that's destroy 2 targets with 1 set and 30 points with 1 set, and I still have 1 set for another 30-point target. But that's not gonna help me to flip over enemy garrison, but it would help me to flip over the neutral one, yeah? So that's gonna be example of neutral garrison. And we're gonna start here with air defense and 30-point target together. So that's gonna be 50 points. There you go. And 30 points targets with another set, and I still have 1 set. I just need to take a look how that's gonna play out. Did I drop that correctly? And unfortunately not, but that should be done. But anyway, I can still fix it. I just gonna need to destroy this air defense, and still 1 bomb have to fly into this 30 point to finish off that. So I'm doing this swing like that, yeah? Fast swing, and I drop those bombs on a bigger area, yeah? So there you go, that's gonna be air defense, definitely destroyed. There you go, and yeah, so those bombs fly all around, but managed to finish off this 30-point target. But that should be done in the first place, yeah, that was my mistake. But anyway, no premium consumables needed, and you have the neutral garrison at 1 pass, we can say. But the biggest problem is a command center for this plane. So they are command centers which are required from you to reload your bomb twice. And drop, like, basically, 3 times your bombs you have to drop on some command centers to be able to flip them over, if they are enemy one, of course. Now this one here is going to be enemy one in a moment, but I'm going to destroy 2 targets with 1 set of bomb here, this 15-point target here and 30-point target. I'm going to show you that close up now. Zoom in, sorry, yeah, those two need to be destroyed together with 1 set. And try not to wait until the sector is unlocked. You can drop your bombs earlier. Those bombs fly to the target for quite some time. As you see, I'm here flying over 3000 meters, and this bloody bot bomber playing a light fighter with me. Anyway, you can ignore that, make a hard turn, and we start from the main building, which give us 50 points. The enemy command center have 180 capture points, so we start from this 50. Now 15 and 30 together, so that's 45 with 1 set. And I have to do the turn now for another 30-point target, yeah, another 30 point, yeah, there you go, that's successful. And this one here, 30 point, we drop. So when I destroy that, I will have over this sector 125 capture points. So yeah, there you go. And what's left is 55 capture points. That's all I need to do with the second set of bombs. Yeah. When I reload, I have to destroy 3 targets, which give me 55 capture points. And this is very easy because all I need to do is just destroy 3 air defense, which give you each give you 20 capture points. So I'm gonna do basically 60 here. Yeah. And there you go. Well, of course, I could destroy one of these 15 points target, but I'm greedy on my capture points and personal points. That's what I would do. And this is training room, so that doesn't matter. But in real battle, I would go for 320 capture points. There you go. And that's how you capture a good few command center in this game. If you have to do it, of course, on your own. So basically, you have to make a good decision. Should you go or not for the command center? Sometimes it's much better to fly a little bit bigger distance, yeah, but a little bit longer to get some other sector instead of wasting so much time on command center. So you have to calculate that. Let me get back as well for a second to the garrisons, because there are some garrisons which can be taken over with 3 sets of bombs when they are enemy garrisons, yeah. So basically for enemy garrison we need 120 capture points. So what we need to do in such a garrison, we need to destroy 20-point target and 30-point target together, and we have to do it twice. So as you see here, that's air defense 20 points and main building on garrison for 30, so that will give me 50. Now I'm drop one more set for air defense, so that's gonna be 70 capture points. So now I have to do the same thing what I did on the start, so 20 and 30 together with this last set of bombs, and then I can take over the enemy garrison on my own. But it's only a few of them, and this is extremely difficult if you don't have premium consumable. On this standard consumable it's difficult, and when you do that, don't do it like that, like I'm trying to do that now, because that's not gonna work. You have to start from air defense to the 30-point target, not other way around, yeah. And you can do it, but this is of course extremely difficult if you're not using the premium consumables. But if you do have premium consumables, this is really quite, I mean, I don't want to say it's easy, but it's much more doable and much more reliable, so you can have that garrison capture. Okay, coming back to the command center, guys. So I literally sometimes decide not to go to bomb command center. If I have a choice to go for the garrison, I will go for garrison, because it's much more consistent. I'm sure that I'm going to take it over. I drop my bombs for 3 targets, reload my bombs and destroy some more targets and flip it over like 100%, yeah. But command center is very difficult. It requires sometimes even to reload your bombs twice, so basically 3 drops of your bombs. And I think I don't have to state the obvious that the airbase, airfields, this is not the most important target for the bombers, and also very difficult to capture with 3 sets of bombs, yeah. Quite obvious, yeah, but I still see bomber pilots going for the airfield in the middle of the map instead of some important sectors, yeah. So guys, keep that on mind. Yeah, this is not where you should go. This is like secondary target, let's say. Okay guys, that's all I have for you today, and let me sum up everything. We have very unique bomber. I call this bomber ninja bomber because we have to hide specifically in the squall line as a flying free kill, basically, yeah. So it's very unique bomber. Now question is it worth of buying certificates to get it? Absolutely not. RB17 can do the same job, just better. But that doesn't mean that this is not interesting and fun to play machine. It is, and I really like it, enjoy it, and I like the playstyle at high altitude. However, I'm not so sure is that gonna last for long, because I can get boring very quickly by pressing spacebar at high altitude and avoiding any combat. Okay guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you like it, found it useful, and if so, please leave a like and subscribe for future content. And if you have any comments, leave me in the comment section what you think about XB-42. Was this plane worth of time spending for grinding or certificates? What you think, guys? Okay, have a good hunting, guys. Take care.